Well, hello everyone, Texie88 here, and welcome to another overview slash review. This is of a film I've had on DVD for a while. It's called Drive. The film dates back to 1997 and stars Mark Dacascos and Kadeem Hardison, and it was directed by a man named Steve Wang, who's a Taiwan-born American makeup artist and filmmaker. It it was a it was a direct-to-video film, and it had a pretty low budget. But despite the low budget and fairly short shooting schedule, it's actually a really good action film which has quite a bit of heart. And if you if you're looking, and that's actually Mark Dacascos depicted on the front cover there. Now, Mark Dacascos is probably best known to more recent audiences for being the main villain in John Wick 3 Parabellum. He has rather less hair now than he did when Drive came out, but this is a chance to see Mark Dacascos used really well in an American martial arts action film that makes great use of his capabilities. And you actually see him do some gymnastics and other stuff, including elements of the Brazilian martial arts capoeira. Anyone who's played the Tekken games and played the character named Eddie Gordo will know exactly what I'm talking about. Another notable capoeira exponent is Latif Crowder, who had a fight against Tony Jaa in Warrior King, which is known outside of the UK as either Tom Yum Goong or The Protector. Not the 1985 film with Jackie Chan. Warrior King came out around 2006, at least in my country. And even though there's a large focus on action, there are some bits in the director's cut that were cut from the American print that took away some of the heart of the film, and you actually get to see that Mark Dacascos can actually put in a fairly good acting performance as well. There's actually a bit where you see him come close to tears, and he does actually do a commendable job of moments when he's having to simply act and not just bust out his flying fists and feet. And he also showed that he's pretty good at being able to fire a gun without blinking, and that's pretty good because Mark actually does have some pretty big wide eyes, so it would have been very noticeable if he was blinking every time he pulled the trigger of the gun he was using. So that's always a big plus. It's far less distracting for the viewer. In the film, the idea is that Mark Dacascos, who plays a character called Toby Wong, he's got an advanced bioengine device in his chest, which greatly increases his speed and physical capabilities, and he's trying to stop China from having the device after Hong Kong reverted to Chinese control, which was obviously back in 1997 when on the 1st of July Hong Kong was no longer a British colony. So he's on the run from them, and there are some assassins who are after him, even though ironically they're being told not to kill him because otherwise they will potentially damage the unit, presumably. And there's also there's also an evil character who's right up top called Mr. Lau, and he's played by an actor called James Shigeta. And he's probably best known to a lot of people for playing a rather significant character in the first Die Hard film. In fact, he was visible as the head executive of the Nakatomi the company in that tall building where Die Hard's action takes place. And he does have a pretty menacing air about him. Another notable actress who's in this film is the late Brittany Murphy, who unfortunately died at the age of just 32 in late 2009. And it was a sad loss, although it is possible that her character could be seen as somewhat insulting in the eyes of feminists, but because her character is somewhat ditzy and gets a crush on Kadeem Hardison's character. But if you put that aside, then there are some pretty interesting moments of comedy between Kadeem Hardison and Brittany Murphy, which may just hit the spot where other bits might be seen as not particularly kind. And some of the things that Kadeem Hardison actually comes out with in some of his facial reactions are really quite good as well. When you first see this film, you wouldn't believe it had such a tight shooting schedule or such a tight budget. They've really pulled out all the stops to make good use of Hong Kong style action in an American film, and by and large it works, especially if you're watching the director's cut, which I honestly recommend you do. The music's better in the director's cut as well. I believe they changed all that, as well as cut 20 minutes from the edited American print. So if you're curious about this film and you like your action and you like well choreographed martial artistry, then I very much doubt you're going to be disappointed with Drive. It's definitely worth a look. And you'll also get to see Mark Dacascos in his prime, when he was at his very best and most capable. And you also get to see him as a hero and not the villain that he was in John Wick 3 Parabellum. So that's a plus as well. So you will have seen him on both sides of the badge, so to speak. So let's have a look at the back of this DVD. And as you can see, this has also got a feature-length audio commentary, and one of the people taking part is actually Mark Dacascos himself. And as you can see there, it won two film festival awards. One of which actually beat Jackie Chan's Drunken Master 2. Because if you bear in mind, at the time, Western martial arts films tended to have this really slow-paced, very simplified choreography, which didn't really have a lot of thrill to it. There were some exceptions here and there, but by and large, it was generally straight-to-video fodder, and a lot of it was somewhat unmemorable. But Drive definitely, despite being straight to video, definitely doesn't fall into that category. The choreography is really quite clever and even has moments of humor in it, a bit like you might have expected in a typical Jackie Chan film. And like Jackie, there are points where Mark Dacascos uses his environment as weapons to help him combat his many opponents. And Mark Dacascos really has some pretty good screen presence as well. I think that a lot of women actually found him quite handsome, and and those eyes of his, when he does a wide-eyed stare or glare, it really comes across well on screen. I kind of hope that he can have a belated, more mainstream film career now that he's appeared in something as major as John Wick 3 Parabellum, and showed some of what he's still capable of despite his fairly advanced years compared to when this film came out. But yeah, I definitely recommend giving Drive a look. So anyway, hope you enjoyed having a look at this video. Catch you on another video soon. Taxi88 out.